So hi guys and welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video I'm going to be looking at the latest update for your firmwares for the Evercade VS and Evercade EXP. This is for January. It was previously released in December but got withdrawn due to some issues. So without further ado, let's have a look at the details and see if it's actually worth upgrading. Hopefully it won't cause you any issues. Let's get started. Okay guys, so let's get started. So this was actually initially released in December, but got withdrawn due to some issues with carts not working properly after it was updated. So that's obviously not ideal. I'm very tentative about updating this still. I've noticed a few people still experiencing a few issues here and there. So I'll probably just go at it and let's see what happens. Hopefully there's no massive issues. But fingers crossed, this could help you decide whether to update or not. So obviously they've been working hard the last few weeks to try and iron out the issues. This was a pretty big update with turbo fire, high scores, patching a few carts, that type of thing. And this is for your VS and EXP. Now the full patching list is included. I'll go through that in a little minute, but I'm going to go through some of the sort of details that they've put on the website here. So one of the big fixes is the turbo fire, which is still sort of in beta form, and this is for mainly the arcade shooters on Tourplan and IRAM. So rather than obviously keep pressing a button, you can now just hold down the shoot button and it will just keep repeating fire for you, which is brilliant, meaning you won't get finger fatigue. So these are all the cartridges or games that are applicable for this feature. Most of them seem to be on IRAM or the Tourplan collections, which I guess makes sense, but there's a few other shooters on a couple other collections that you might want to include that for, but I reckon probably Tourplan carts are the ones that I would use it for the most. And then it's giving you some information about the default button for it, the button that you will probably use for the turbo fire. There's a little bit there about it not actually working on as part of the Tate mode. Obviously that's not ideal. It'd be great if we could maybe remap that to a different button. Obviously because if you turn it on to Tate mode playing these games, there's only 2 buttons available. A bit of a pain, but anyway, that is what it is. So as part of this big update, there's also a high score beta being added to the firmware, and this is basically about saving your high scores onto obviously high score tables, because if obviously you get a big high score, you put your details in, you turn the cart off, you come back, it's gone. So the idea here is once you've done this, it should save automatically without obviously utilising your save states, and it will still be there on your high score table the next time you actually play without having to utilise save states and that type of thing. And this is for obviously most of the arcade carts, so it's all of them I believe, and the Evercade EXP built-in Capcom titles as well. So that's quite cool if you want to brag to your friends about the amazing high score that you got, or the pitiful effort that you put up. Anyway, there's some other improvements here to do with gamma correction. Not really sure what that's all about, to be honest, but the information is there if you want to read through it. I'll leave a link in the description to this. They've actually, if you look at the title there, it's actually the features update December 2023, but they've obviously had to change that to January 2024. But it's still the same link at the top. So we've got some changes and maybe fixes to the SRAM, which is the saves that you would find in some games such as Duke Nukem 3D, and obviously the example here they're using here is Good Boy Galaxy. So sometimes that was causing issues, crashing games, yeah, it just wasn't saving at all. So usually I would probably just stick to using the actual save states themselves within the Evercade rather than the SRAM saves, but it's up to you what you want to do. Hopefully this fix will sort out any issues that anyone experienced, but just be careful and you close down your device correctly. If you turn off the system or remove the cartridge without having saved properly or quit the game, you'll probably lose your in-game save. So just be careful how you're doing that. There's some information here regarding that, so just be careful what you're doing. You don't want to go back to the game thinking you've saved it and it's not actually saved at all, which is an absolute nightmare, especially in games like Good Boy Galaxy, because there's a lot of effort needs to go into that. I take to redo certain stages and levels. That would be just painful. So there's quite a lot of information here, but that's the main changes that they've put in place. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. There's probably a lot of cart patches as well, so we'll go into the actual patches information and it'll give a little bit more detail to all the patch notes and all the different changes that they have actually made. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, first off we'll look at the Evercade EXP patch notes. This is version 3.1.6. There's new checks for cart updates, automatic cartridge backup restore option in case of update errors, and interestingly this thing here, the force patch cartridge option has been added to the settings menu for manual cartridge patching. So if something does go wrong to one of your carts, or maybe you've got a cart that's had an issue if you did go through the update in December, or even beyond that, maybe this will help fix your cart and maybe bring it back to life again. Now, I'm not sure if it will work. I'm going to try it myself because I have the Team 17 cart that is totally not working for me on any of my devices. Not sure if it's related to the December update, but anyway, I'm going to try and do the force patch cartridge and see if it actually brings the cart back to life. I'm not really holding up much hope, but you never know. I'll give it a try and see what happens. Hopefully that will help your carts. If you've got some broken carts and it brings back to life, let me know guys if it does actually work. I've not seen anyone saying it does yet, so I have no idea if it does or not. So obviously the Turbo Fire beta support and High Score beta support are the main updates here as well. Updated many of the additions here regarding the 3.15 hotfix. Global optimizations, performance improvements for arcade games, various fixes to artwork, fix to Pico Interactive Collection 3, oh that's preventing you finishing the game in Legend of Wukong, a fix for chain reaction again, that's crazy, that one keeps coming up, Home Computer Heroes, a fix for Planet X2 because I think R2 basically just crashed the game if you press that on the EXP, which is just disastrous. Full Void fix some crash conditions. Never noticed it myself. I don't remember it crashing on me at all, but if that happened for you, hopefully that should fix it now. Various bug fixes for Good Boy Galaxy, improved performance, improved enemy spawns, and added cutscene content for Good Boy Galaxy. Now I believe that you should be able to play the demo that was included on itch.io. Basically this was a sort of pre-game. I think you could play it for about an hour or two, which was it's like a demo, which isn't actually in the main game. So hopefully we'll be able to have a look at that as well. Quite a lot of fixes for Duke Nukem 1, a lot of collision detection, infinite score glitches, fix Duke Nukem 3D total meltdown, occasional save state issues with the VS, that issue with the sound interpolation on Duke Nukem 3D. Hopefully that will fix that. That's interesting. A few other things there. Duke Nukem Collection 2 as well. Save state issues mainly. Lots of other things there too. Issues with the sound too. Absolutely cool. Now, interesting, there's nothing about Duke Nukem Advance. I guess they're just going to stick with how it is, because if you have paid any attention to the Evercade sort of community, you probably noticed that there was a video going around with someone actually comparing the original Duke Nukem Advance on an actual Game Boy Advance, and the performance was far better than the Evercade version. Now, if you'd never played this before, you probably would never have noticed, but I guess when you see it side by side, there is quite a difference between the performance. It could be related to whichever emulator that Blaze are using. I'm not necessarily sure it's to do with the actual Evercade. It's probably whatever emulator it's using, and it's obviously not performing as well as it should. Anyway, it is what it is. If you'd never played it on the Advance, you probably would never even have noticed. So loads of changes there. Obviously they've listed the Turbo Fire beta support with all the different games there. And that's that. Let's have a quick look, see if there's any differences to the VS patches. I don't think there is. So Evercade VS patch notes, this is version 3.1.4 and it just looks pretty similar. I don't think there's anything massively different that we've already looked at for the EXP. Okay guys, so starting with the Tour Plan Arcade Collection 1, this is the update notification that you get. There's an update available for this cartridge to fix known issues, improve gameplay experience, blah blah blah. There's a small chance it could probably screw up your cart and save states probably. Anyway guys, that's the sort of message you get when you put in this cart probably be similar to some of the other collections as well. So I'm going to get started, update the cart, we'll try the beta, high score and the sort of turbo function, and I'll let you know how we go. I'm worried at this point probably. So hopefully it doesn't take too long to actually update. So, but I would not turn off your Evercade just in case it does screw up the cart. We wouldn't want that, would we? Okay, so this cartridge patch complete, press A to continue. So it took about a minute or two to actually update. I have seen some people saying nothing was happening. It would be nice to see actual progress bar so that you know something's happening. But anyway, it is what it is. It's now updated. Let's have a look at it. So just about to play Truxton, and you can see here the turbo fire is mentioned as button Y if you want to use that turbo function rather than obviously the default fire button, which is B, and obviously your bombs are A. So let's have a look at Truxton. So I've managed to get myself a high score. I've quit the game, come back in without utilising the save states, and you see my initials are on the high score table, which is terrific. And also I think the turbo fire button, which is button Y, is fantastic, really cool. I mean, you can just concentrate on the enemy fire, taking out the enemies without concentrating too much about constantly pressing down the fire button. Now I think that's really cool. It might bring a lot of these games to life, might even help me make some progress in the games. Maybe, I doubt it. I'm still not that great at these games, unfortunately. But if you love your shooters, this might be helpful for you. Just a word of sort of warning or caution here that some of the sort of weapons that you use, if you hold down the turbo fire button, it doesn't really work that well with the electricity. You need to probably revert back to the other fire button just so that you have a continuous fire for that. But anyway, it works really well. So we're going to have a look at the Duke Nukem Collection 1 now, and more specifically looking at Duke Nukem Collection 3. Now I've seen a lot of people complain that this isn't working, you get an error and then it's stopped the cart from working completely. But so far I've not experienced that. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, so let's have a look at Duke Nukem 3D especially for some of the changes that's been made. So performance wise, I think it certainly seems to have made a difference. The game is sort of whizzing along at a decent pace, and I don't see any massive sort of slowdown or issues like that. So hopefully that has made a massive difference. Now, one of the other changes I wanted to check was the sound issues that you had in one of the stages, which was really quite bad, which I highlighted in my initial review video when I was playing this on the Super Pocket and the EXP and VS, which was really quite off-putting. So hopefully that's been sorted. Let's have a quick look at that.
Let's rock.
So at the start of this level there was definitely some sound issues and it was pretty terrible. You would know the difference. I'm so glad to say now that that's been sorted and I haven't seen any issues at all, which is good because it's really off-putting. You could solve it by sort of pausing the game and unpausing again, but thankfully you don't have to do that now. It does seem to have solved that issue. But guys, if you do notice any issues, let me know and I'll try and have a look at them and maybe get them reported to Blaze so that we can get them sorted. Okay, so let's move on to Good Boy Galaxy and Witch and Whiz Collection. That's got some updates, more so for Good Boy Galaxy. And the same sort of warning comes up in place. But unfortunately for this one, I got an error. It says, an error occurred while patching the cartridge, error code 7. No clue what that's all about. I have seen this issue being reported on some Facebook groups and in Discord, and a few people said then their carts stopped working after that point, which is a bit of a worry. So I've tried to start the game and play Good Boy Galaxy, and it seemed to be working absolutely fine. But I also got an issue once I stopped playing it. I tried to quit out the game, and it completely crashed the console, and it would not do a thing. I thought it was maybe just patching or something at this point, but it done nothing for maybe about 5 minutes, so I eventually had to pull the plug because the reset button would not work, the on-off button would not work either, it was just flashing these lights. Bit of an issue there, really concerning. Okay, so gladly the Evercade turned back on and the cartridge seems to be fine. I recognised it and it kicked in the patch update again. This time it was successful, so that was a little bit of a concern and worry. I thought it was going to completely stop my cart from working, which is pretty crazy. Though starting the game, I'm not entirely sure what the changes are. I initially thought that the demo that was on itch.io was going to be included. That's what I was told at the time, but I can't see it. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's hidden somewhere in the game, but I couldn't see it. I can see there's a few subtle changes to the menu, as you can see here. I've started a new game, restarted my old save, and I couldn't see any massive changes. I think there's some additional cutscenes, but obviously I have no idea what they are. They could be anywhere in the game. Hopefully we'll get some more information about that going forward, but I couldn't really see anything. Nothing was really sticking out for me. So finally guys, I was going to look at the patch cartridge system. If you go into the system settings, there's the force patch cartridge for slot 1. I've put my Team 17 cart in there, but unfortunately it didn't actually help. You might find better luck in some of the carts if you've got some broken carts, especially if you've had them broken with this firmware update. It might fix it, it might not. Let me know either way guys, I'd be really interested to know if this does actually work. For me it doesn't. So my Team 17 cart is completely gubbed, for want of a better expression. Anyway guys, it is what it is. Should you update, it's your choice. There's some good fixes here, but yeah, it's still not perfect. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.